Yeah, sure. I would love Kim Richards. Sure, Brandy, but you have to think of the current state of all of these people. I would love Lisa Rinna back. I just think Rinna's been so recent, and we kind of know what we're getting. I say Camille. I say I want Camille back. But anyway, that's when we saw that. Now we saw the van last pop out. We go to the next scene, and it's at Sutton's house, and Sutton has created a country club. It's a country club. And Avi is putting everything out for everyone. You know, this and that, and putting out food. And Garcelle is invited, of course, but so is Kyle. So Garcelle, Kyle, and Sutton. And there is bad language being used by Kyle, and Sutton says, at this country club, anything goes. You could use any language that you want. They're serving. Kyle says, as she is being poured some iced tea, is there alcohol in the iced tea? I think that's kind of shady. And I don't even think she meant it as shady, but at Sutton's house, when we're being poured lemonade, or we're being poured anything, iced tea, you always have to ask if there's alcohol in it. Says something about Sutton, doesn't it? But I love you, Sutton. Well, anyway, we're still talking about the text, and she says, I called Mo. I called Mo last night, or I called Mo this morning. Um, he's the first one that I called. And Garcelle's like, this is really weird. You guys talk all the time? I mean, what is that? Like, look, I'm all for copacetic breakups. I just think something always goes wrong. I think we talked about this with Catherine Edwards recently, and I don't know what part or if it's out yet, but this is all not even to stereotype. This is all fun and games, but I look, there's some vision that Mauricio will probably find someone first, right? Just because he's being pictured with all these women, even though Kyle has Morgan, whatever the hell she is. But the point is, as soon as one of them gets somebody, a guy or a girl, whatever it is that either of them are dating, because I think, Mo and guys and Kyle and women, Morgan. I mean, so just who knows? But whoever they end up with, somebody's going to be like, I don't want you calling or texting your ex 24 hours a day. So I think it's all copacetic until that actually happens. I agree with Catherine on this one. But Garcelle finds it very strange as well that she is texting. And we learn that we're saying, and it's different. The women are kind of siding with Dorit on this one. Garcelle is the one that leads it. She's like, I understand. I mean, my situation is the same as Dorit's. Dorit's situation is the same as mine, except without the infidelity, because Garcelle had infidelity in her divorce. And Dorit did not. So Garcelle says, well, like Dorit's situation's the same as mine, except without the infidelity. And Kyle says, without the infidelity, and this and that. And then we have Sutton who says, well, you had infidelity. And I really feel, look, there's a lot of discussion lately about Sutton, right? Is Sutton, and you guys, I think, feel a lot of different ways. Like, is Sutton innocent? Is it just like, as she says later, which we'll get into, that things just slip out of her mouth? Is Sutton innocent? Is it just like, well, you had infidelity? Because look, you know how in life, when like you know something and the people you're with know something, and then you forget sometimes that you're in mixed company. Like if you're with three of your friends and you all know something happened, and you're not kind of like when I said Melissa kissed Nick in the back of the thing. Like if Margaret and Melissa were hanging out, and Lexi, and they said this, but then we look over and there's Teresa. Well, we forgot Teresa was in the room, right? Because the three of us know that you kissed Nick in the back of the thing, but oh shit, Teresa's here. We just said it in front of her. I feel like that's like this situation. Do you guys ever have that? I have that, like where you and say three of your friends know something, but it's like the thing you guys just don't talk about. And then you say it and you're not trying to be mean. It just comes out of your mouth because it's such obvious knowledge, even though we don't really talk about it. And then you realize there's three other people in the room that aren't really our friends, that aren't in our inner circle. that actually now have just heard us say this. And shit, well, I didn't mean to say that, but I did say it, but I wasn't really trying to be a shit stirrer. It's just that we all know this, so that's why it came out. So is that what happened with Sutton? Did she just blurt it out? Because, like, I mean, we've all heard these rumors about the diddlin and the daddlin. Hey, Behind the Velvet Rope podcast has talked about this for years. By the way, when Alison Dubois was here all these times, and we talked about, he will never emotionally fulfill you and everything she said. And we love our Alison Dubois. We talked to her often. It came up. This whole thing came up. This is the whole thing that came up that, you know, this was the whole thing basically, is that this is what he said. And Allison said, these rumors. And I said, so she's heard them, is basically what I'm saying. Like everyone in LA has heard these rumors about Mo. So when Sutton says this, is she just like, well, I mean, we all know this? Or was this intentional? That's really my question. Was this like, well, you had in the infidelity. Oh, whoops. Well, yes, Sutton, there are cameras in your face. You know this is being filmed. I don't know. Which is it? Slip into the comments on Patreon, where everyone's listening to this. Slip into the comments and let me know. Do you think this was intentional? Like Sutton knew that she was now bringing this on the show? Not that it hasn't been on the show before. It was on the show back with LVP and slipping things to magazines. And so it's been on the show before, but it has been a while since it's been on the show. It's been years. And certainly now Sutton is bringing it back on the show. So was this innocent, like, oh God, like we all know this, but oh shit, I forgot we were filming? Or because you do forget, the cameras are there, but you get caught up in it. And that's what we love. Or is this intentional, like, wow? Yeah, I just brought this on the show and I did it on purpose. So she brings it up. It's just, well, you had infidelity. And then Kyle says, who's had infidelity? And Sutton says, you did. And Kyle says, no, I didn't. And Sutton says, with Mauricio. Or she says, Mo. And Kyle says, huh? When? And then Sutton says, well, you talked about it. Garcelle, and then they show the flashback where she was talking about the internet and all that. And Garcelle says, what? Garcelle does a confessional. Well, this is the unspoken stuff. I mean, we've all heard this throughout the years, but no one talks about this. And Kyle says, oh, like all the social media stuff. And Kyle says, are you talking about the social media stuff? And then they show the flashback where she says, oh, Mo slips into people's DMs and women slip into his DMs and he talks to them. And I don't like that. Granted, that is bad enough for me if you're married or like in a relationship and you're in someone's fucking. If I had a husband, he was in some guy's DMs. I'm like, I don't know. How is this innocent? So, they say it's different than that, and they're talking about this and that. And yeah, we've heard this about Mo for years. So, do I think it's true? Do I think Mauricio has had diddling and daddling throughout the years? Honestly, I do. I think Mauricio diddled, and I think he